Greetings, Toastmasters and guests. Who is that one most perfect person that you have ever come across in your life? Is that me? Is it you? Or is it someone else? Well, when we think of such a thing in our mind, we come across various horizons that help us to answer such a simple question. But rather, we try to resort and say that nobody in this world was ever born perfect and that everyone has imperfections. I agree to it. But well, I'll add on a little bit more by saying that nobody in this world was born perfect and that everyone has imperfection. But with every imperfection comes uniqueness that brings in a newer hope for a newer definition of perfection. But how many of us have ever imagined that if we were a little better looking, we would have been a little more happier? Perhaps for someone it would have been a little thinner, for someone it would have been a little bit more funnier, or anything else. Consider the phrase and ask yourself, if someone you loved had the same flaw, what would you have said to him or her? Well, genuinely, the person I admire the most, even if the world stands by to say that this person has this flaw or isn't perfect there, I, deep down in my heart, somewhere know that I will still stand to say that he is perfect. Why do you think I would say somebody that he is perfect? Well, let me narrate you a short story. Once upon a time, there was a couple and they dated each other for a long time and they happily got married ever after. Their friends and family members were invited to the lovely ceremony that they had. And every person present there could readily make out how much they loved each other. Well, after a few months of their marriage, the wife came in with a proposal to offer to her husband. She said that a while ago, she read somewhere in a magazine that to strengthen their marriage, they need to do something. But the husband asked what? And she said that they were supposed to sit together and make a list of things that annoyed them as partners. So the husband agreed on making that list, and both of them headed towards separate rooms. They wrote down everything that came to their mind throughout that day. And next morning, on the breakfast dining table, both sat down with their lists. Now, the wife said that once they were completed narrating their lists, they would sit together to fix all the annoyances they had in between them, to lead a happier life. And excited that she was, she offered to start first. But looking at her list, she had a lot of items in that list because the list was almost 3 pages long. Seeing this, the husband got a little surprised, but he did not say anything. The wife started with her list, and in between, she saw that her husband had some tears in his eyes. So she paused for a while in between to ask what was wrong. But the husband casually said that it was nothing. So she just went on continuing with her list. Once she was done with her list, she said that now it was his turn to narrate what he had in his list. Well, Toastmasters, you will be surprised to see, but the husband stated that he had nothing in his list, as he found himself to be the most fortunate person on this planet to have that lady as as his wife. He said that he felt privileged enough to have such a lovely and a wonderful partner who went with him at every step that he wanted. The wife was touched and filled with tears. She could feel the honesty and the desire and the affection that her husband had for her. Right, Toastmasters? My point being that we find solace even in the lacuna of the people that we love. When we look through a red colored glass, even red flags look like just flags. So nobody is perfect. It is just that we need to find the perfectness in them by changing the way we see them. The rights and wrongs, Toastmasters, that have been defined by the society have made us forget that the judgments that we carry for ourselves are to be used by us. We forget that all the constraints and the constrictions that the society has put upon us are not really valuable. But this is just a part of who you really are. And you should be proud of it. When I go through certain things in my mind, I feel that why should I be self-doubting myself? Because it happens that when we step on the ladder towards improving ourselves, we find ourselves trapped somewhere in the pursuit of perfection. And that is where we start self-doubting ourselves. The moment we start learning how to overcome our flaws, become better, that is the day when you will emerge as a true leader. Well, Toastmasters, whenever there is a moment that I feel that I do not feel very confident enough, I feel that I am vulnerable, I am real, and I am not that perfect. Because, my dear friends, in this whole world, we will find people who will not be perfect, who have adjusted themselves and registered themselves in their mind that being perfect is not the motto in life, but being real is one of the cornerstones in your life. Well, so Toastmasters, don't you think in this entire wonderful life filled with promises, life and happiness, why should we ponder upon things that annoy us or things that are just not very good? Let's look on the things that are brighter and that come ahead of us. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Billy.
That was a great speech, Toastmaster Yashika.